but he was evasive, almost as if he were embarrassed. When I asked him if the movie 2001 had inspired him to make this thing, being that it was the year 2001, he said he hadn't planned it. He hadn't planned it that way, but said that he was amazed at the coincidence. He said that he recently rented the movie 2001 and saw similarities between the monolith in the movie and what he had just set up. I don't know if you are familiar with the movie, but after meeting with him, Daphne and I, along with the friends, sat through that boring-ass movie. It was a real yawner, laughed Daphne. Looking at his watch, the lead detective said, okay, so what was the coincidence? Well, in the movie, the monolith on the moon ends up producing a single radio beam to the planet Jupiter as a way of pointing Earthlings to something that would create a new stage in evolution once they arrived there and met with the monolith that was orbiting Jupiter. The lead detective and FBI agent started looking shifty-eyed. I can see why this guy went to Burning Man, said the lead detective. Don't you see, asked the young man. The monolith in the movie pointed a single radar beam to Jupiter to point the way to something. The monolith this man made contained hundreds of video cassettes with single strips of videotape, each one containing a single message on it. Instead of pointing Earthlings to Jupiter, though, they were designed, when played, to point our attention to the edge of Earth. And instead of making you a giant floating baby in space, it was to lead you to picking up what? The man smiled, realizing the absurdity of how it was about to sound. Silvery, flying saucer-shaped objects containing a theory on video that he felt was highly important, but didn't know whether or not God wanted it exposed to humankind. He said that the structure he had just built up at Burning Man contained a single message that repeated itself and pointed somewhere to where these saucers would be landing. The detective thought for a while and said, "What happened to the monolith?" The young man and his girlfriend smiled. The young man then said, "Being that it looked like something from the movie 2001, and here it was 2001, people were gathered around it. People began to gather around it. By the time it started getting dark, a lot of people were making the E sound that was sung in the movie. As most sang that eerie E, getting louder and louder with it, sounded a lot like the chorus in the movie. More and more people showed up, and more people got carried away. A lot of them took off their clothes and began acting like apes in the movie as they started to touch and feel the monolith. At this point, the man was trying to tell them to be careful, that it looked solid but was actually hollow and very flimsy since it was held together with scotch tape inside. But they didn't listen. A lot of them were high on ecstasy, and there was a lot of laughing and fooling around. Soon the whole thing tipped and crumbled like a bunch of bricks." "Did you get mad?" asked the lead detective.